Hello, all Form 2 students. Today we are going to learn a new concept called loanwords. Now let's have a look at the book. Please turn your book to page 29. Loanwords. So what are loanwords? Very often we use loanwords in our lives, in our daily lives. So what are loanwords? Let's look at the definition here. In the English language, there are a lot of words which are borrowed from other languages. For example, in the test of Unit 6, Test 1, we saw these two words, chick and faction. In fact, they both come from the French language. They are from France. All right? And if you remember, we also saw this word, shampoo, in test 2. This word does not come from French language. It comes from Hindi. It comes from Hindi language. So we call these words loanwords. So let's look at here. Sometimes the way we pronounce a loanword is the same as or similar to the way it is pronounced in its original language. However, sometimes it is not. For example, chick, this French word, is pronounced the same in English and French. However, the word faction is not. I'm sorry that I'm not a French speaker, so I don't know how to pronounce faction in French. If you know, please tell me. All right. So these are words borrowed from French and Hindi. But what about in Cantonese? The language that we speak? In fact, there are also a lot of loanwords from English we can find in Cantonese. So in today's lesson, I'm going to show you some of the English loanwords in Cantonese. Now let's have a look at the PowerPoint. We'll first look at some simple loanwords from English sound. And we have a linguistic term called it. We can call them phonetic transliteration. Now, let's have a look at the first picture. Do you know the name of it in English and in Cantonese? In English, we call it salad. In Cantonese, we call it salad. Do you find the pronunciations of the English and the Cantonese words are very similar? Yes, salad, salad. So this is an example of what we call loanwords from English sound. Originally, we have salad in English. But then in Cantonese, we borrow the sound salad into Cantonese. And now we have salad. All right, look at this. So how do we call it in English? Sandwich, right? Sandwich. In Cantonese, 三文治. Both pronunciations are very similar. In fact, there are a lot of examples in Cantonese. Now let's look at another example. This one. Do you like eating it? We call it cheese in English. So how about in Cantonese? 芝士 cheese 芝士 very similar, right? This one. I'm sure some of you don't know how to say it in English. We call it strawberry. 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 In Cantonese, remember, we don't call it 草莓. We call it 士多啤梨. Strawberry. 士多啤梨. Very similar, right? Another fruit. How about this one? Mango. Right? Mango. In Cantonese, it is 芒果. Mango. 芒果. Quite similar. All right. Let's look at this. This is quite special. In English, of course, we all know that it is called chocolate. Chocolate. In Cantonese, we call it 朱古力. I know some of you like Japanese very much. If you like Japanese or you know how to speak Japanese, how do we say this in Japanese? We call it choco in Japanese, right? In fact, very similar to Cantonese or even more, Japanese also has a lot of loanwords from different languages. Like this one. This one is yellow colored object. What is it? We call it pudding in English. But in Cantonese, it is 布丁 jelly. Jelly. This one, cookie. Cookie. This one, it is a bit challenging. What is it? It is made of eggs and then some other ingredients. You fried them in the pan. We call it omelette. 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 The pronunciations are very similar, right? This one. Of course, I know that this is bread, but look at the color. We can also call it toast. In Cantonese, it is 多士. This one, not food this time. It is a shop, right, in English. But we can also call it a store, S-T-O-R-E, store. In Chinese, we can call it 喜多, but it is quite old-fashioned, right? Maybe you say that we only can find 喜多 in wet markets, not in the shopping malls. All right, let's look at this one. I'm sure all of know its name in English, right? We call it bus. But how do we call it in Cantonese? Remember, in Hong Kong, we call it 巴士, a sound which is similar to bus. But in the mainland China, we call it 巴士, or you seldom see double-decker bus in China. But how do we call a bus in China? We call it 公交, right? So 公交 or even 公交車 has a different pronunciation from the English word bus. So this is not a loan word in Mandarin or in Chinese, but it is a loan word in Cantonese. Just like this one. Look at here. You know the English name, right? From here, they are called taxi. Taxi. In Cantonese, we call them taxi. Taxi, which is very similar to taxi. But in the mainland China, we have a different way to say it, to call it. We call them 計程車, right? But in Hong Kong, we don't call them 計程車. We call them 的士. So this is the difference between Cantonese and Mandarin. All right. So we just looked at a lot of loan words from English. Now, what about another way around? Cantonese loan words in English. In fact, let me tell you, in English, we can also find some Cantonese words in English. Let's look at this one. You use it when you are eating French fries at McDonald's, right? Have you ever paid attention to its name when you use it every day in McDonald's? How do we call it in English? Of course, in Cantonese, we call it 茄汁. We call it 茄汁. How about in English? We call it, look at here. The spelling is K-E-T-C-H-U-P, ketchup. 茄汁, ketchup. Very similar, right? Very similar. So this is a Cantonese loan words in English. It first begins in Cantonese, 茄汁, and then the English language borrowed it from Cantonese, 茄汁, ketchup. Next one. Your mother uses it every day in the kitchen, right? It is in Cantonese, what is it? It is a wok. walk. But in English, it is called, I told you it's very similar to the Cantonese pronunciation. So the best guess is walk. Correct. In English, we call it walk. W-O-K, walk. Very funny, right? So another type of example is that for the food, for the Chinese food, very often in English, we directly borrow the names from Chinese into the English language, like this one. We call them dim sum, dim sum, right? Okay. So we just look at a lot of words. Cantonese loanwords in English, or even English loanwords from Cantonese. So let me tell you a bit more. The reason why are there loanwords? Why are there Cantonese loanwords? So in fact, there was historical context between English and Cantonese in the late 17th century. Very long time ago, more than 300 years. So what did they do back then? The British traders at that time came to Canton, meaning Guangzhou or Hong Kong, near Hong Kong. What did they do? They came here to buy Chinese tea and porcelain. This is porcelain, 漆黑. So we know that there was historical context. So when the British came here and when they met Chinese, of course, they had to communicate with one another using words, right? And therefore, we had loan words since that time. So when was the first English loanwords documented? The English loanwords are documented in the first English Cantonese English dictionary published in 1828, almost 200 years ago. So the words 巴士, invent, or cheese, 芝士, they have a very long history. So I hope that after watching this video, you know more about the concept of loanwords, and you can think about many more loanwords. I think in Cantonese loanwords or English loanwords on your mind. All right. So this week we have a Kahoot exercise on loanwords. Please look at the instructions found in the study guide and finish the Kahoot quiz on loanwords before next Monday. This is the end of this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.